filmfestivalcircuit.com and the director of the Oregon Documentary Film Festival. We have an event coming up on August the 21st at the Clinton Street Theater, and we are going to be featuring a film, The Golden Cage, that is nominated for the Best International Director Award. Yvonne Vavrová, I hope I said that right.
Hello, yes.
Hello, Yvonne. Thank you so much for joining us from Slovakia today.
Thank you very much for having me here. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So I don't want to give away the essence and the story of your film. So in your own words, can you please tell us what The Golden Cage is about?
Yeah. The Golden Cage is a documentary film which I shot last year during the COVID time, a very hard time for the whole planet, I think, and the most hard time for seniors living in seniors care homes. And I wanted to make a documentary about the most fragile and most solitude persons on the earth, because everybody has his own family, and then they can go out from their family or just go to the street, on the street. But what was the problem on the senior care house? They didn't want to let them go out, and they were like in a prison. And for me, it was a fantastic topic for a documentary. Therefore, there is a title, The Golden Cage. They protected the social care people. They really took care about them, but really they were like in a prison. And the topic I found, especially for that reason, at that time I had my own mom at the senior care house, and it was the most tragic time for me, because I couldn't visit her. It was closed for 3 months. It was totally closed, hermetically closed. All the senior houses, they were very afraid just to bring the virus there. And I thought how all the seniors, they went down by the psychic. And so I decided to find out that documentary film, and through this topic, I could get into the senior house. And I think it was the only one documentary film in whole Slovakia or Czechoslovakia that was made during the COVID time in a senior care houses. For me, it was also very difficult. It was very important to show that the pension or the old times, or when we will be old, there is something what we are all approaching. Somebody will be living with their family, but the majority, I think, they will live in the senior care houses. And as you remember, especially in Europe, it was very hard time in Italy, in Greek, and also in Slovakia. The most fragile and most fragile category of people were the seniors. So therefore, I decided to bring this synopsis and to start to shooting this documentary. At the beginning, it was very difficult, but because nobody wanted to let me go or to visit or to enter the senior care houses. So, but afterwards, I succeeded with the director of the senior house where my mom was. So she say, okay, but you must make every time you enter the senior care house to take test. So every time we had to stand out to take tests, to be covered with all these things around here, and to make the interviews and to shoot. So I spent more or less 3 months, week by week, interviewing the people. You could see some of the main actors or main characters of the documentary, how they went down cyclically during this 3 months period, especially old pensioner with the name Janko. At the beginning, he was very happy to write diary at the end of the 3 months time of isolation, and he totally lost his sense of life, or anything. He was really desperate. So I really saw on my own eyes, not only through this documentary, how what is a social death. What does it mean to be? What does it mean to have a social death? This social death is isolation in front of all these human beings, and even they had the community inside of the social care house. Even they have some social care people who took care about them, but nobody from the relatives, no grandchildren, nobody could enter. Even sometimes it was difficult also for myself and for my sister. It was very difficult because my mom, she was after stroke and she could not
Mm.
speak, and we could not phone her. So sometimes some the nurse brought her an iPad, and I was speaking with the face of my mom, and she only could see me for some, yeah, I see 30 seconds, 1 minute. So I can imagine how sad it must has been to stay 3 or 6 months laying on a bed without any contact, without any possibility to touch her. And therefore, in the documentary, you will find what I find out that in France and Italy, they found out that such a possibility how to meet the seniors through such a plastic walls, plastic to touch them, not to affect them, not to bring them the virus, but to feel their touch and to care them. So really, I think it's very important because we don't know what will happen in the future. Still, the COVID is coming the third, fourth, fifth time, and there are a new viruses, and I think we have to find there is some education for the whole human being, because nobody has this experience, how you feel when you are alone and you cannot be with your relatives and grandchildren. So there was really my aim to make this documentary. And I know that when this film was projected and was screened in Slovakia, a lot of my colleagues, or all my friends in my age, they just cried because they thought they had their own parents in the social care homes, and they feel so desperate as we did with my sister.
Oh wow, yeah, it's a tough times. How is it right now? How's the isolation and things like that right
Yeah,
now? Are
it's
there
up and
restrictions?
down. It's up and down. Sometimes, unfortunately, I must say, my mother died last year after the COVID.
Sorry for your loss. Yeah.
Thank you very much. She went through all these three phases of COVID, and we went through this. But afterwards, she just she left. And nowadays, it's the senior care houses are still open, but when there is more cases of COVID, they just close it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, and then so the parents, no, the children or the relatives cannot visit them. So it's not still solved. They are still afraid that they will bring the virus to the senior care houses.
Oh wow.
So
Well, it sounds like it's something that's still ongoing,
yeah,
and I guess
yeah.
that gets to my other question is, what are you working on in the future? Are you working on like more of a feature length version of this film? Or are you working on?
Yeah, that was my intention, especially there was something interesting because when I was shooting this film about the seniors, I had some idea about how the COVID time was influencing the young generation. Because beside that, I am a film director. I teach at university film direction, and I know I had to have my education, my lessons through the Skype or through the Google Zoom and so on. And I had such idea that perhaps if it will repeat once more again, I would like to shoot a film about how the young generation is desperate during the time where they have to be separated from their friends and so on. So there will be the idea for the next time. But nevertheless, I hope that the COVID one day will disappear. I don't think so, but it will disappear sometime. And I'm a director also of a fiction films. So beside, I'm preparing fiction film, long feature fiction film. And when I'm speaking with you and you are in the United States, I would like to say that I already won one prize in Chicago International Film Festival with my fiction film for children.
Oh
So
wow, that's huge. What is that, a feature length or is it a short?
it's a 20 minutes long lasting film. The title is Natalie, and it was in Chicago in 2002, and it's about fear. Sometimes you see some topics are going around me. It was about fear of small kid being at home alone. And this fiction short film for children won the prize in Chicago. So
Oh wow, congrats! That's a huge festival.
yeah, thank you very much. I was very proud. So I have a lot of new ideas, also documentary topics and also fiction topics.
Mhm.
So but more or less all the topics are going around human being, about psychic of human being, about also getting elder, because everybody is getting elder, and how to survive this very difficult time, because the
Sure.
media and all media also, they're only speaking about how to be young, how to be smart, how to be nice, and so on, so on, but nobody is speaking very openly about how difficult it is to get older. So therefore I made this documentary.
Isolation as a killer.
Yeah,
It's just so bad. You know what happens on the as the mental health aspects of isolation and lockdown and fear. None of that seems to really help at all. And
yeah, yeah.
you touched on some topics. The judges really enjoy your work and they enjoy what you did here. It seems like you were embedded for a long time, and you really got some good human interest, stories and shots. Just a lot of transparency, a lot of honesty, and I think we're proud to screen it in Oregon.
Thank you
And
very much.
too bad you can't be here, but I know the distance
Yeah,
is so
I
great.
would like, I wish to. But it's not possible. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Well, we still want to showcase your work, and I did want to ask you before we go, though, how did you get started in the business? What was your first
Um,
project?
I must say, I come from such a filmmaker's family. My
Mhm.
father was a film director and cinematographer. So I lived from my childhood with developing films and photography and so on. So really, and my mother, she was editor in chief. So, and my sister, she's a journalist. So during my childhood, really, I was surrounded by this community going around this business. But then I studied the film academy in Prague, direction of feature films, and then I was shooting fiction films. But after the revolution in 1989, there was a very difficult situation in Slovakia, because our biggest film studios, they have been just privatized, and there was for more than 10 years nothing to do in a film business. And I had to start to shoot documentaries. It was a must, because before I shot fiction films, and there was a lack of money and studios and so on. So I started to shoot documentary film, and that was very important for me, because shooting documentary films, that brings you very close to the people, to the thinking, and really you can use it in a fiction films as well. So I change from, sometimes I shoot one fiction film and then the documentary, 3 4 documentaries, because they are much cheaper, of course. And
Hmm.
nowadays it's absolutely perfect. We can shoot with iPhone iPhone, and some of the scenes they have been shot in the Golden Cage with my iPhone, because if I will take out my big camera, everybody will be scared. But with a
Yeah.
small iPhone, nobody paid attention that I am just filming. So nowadays it's much more easier. And then I was working. I was working 7 years in this big film studios in Bratislava, Koliba. Then I lived 5 years in Canada. And firstly in Toronto, and then in Calgary. I bought there my first camera. I went through Canada and I shot films about Canada with the title Canadian Impressions.
Hmm.
And then I returned back to Slovakia, and I was like a freelance film director, and I shot other at least 80 documentary films, more or less. What
Oh,
I
wow.
what I really appreciate very much, that I was able to pass more or less 2 years in Japan. I was selected by one Japanese producer to shoot 9-part documentary films about the Japanese miracle, and that was something for me really. Well, it was a miracle for me. So I had the possibility to know what's going on in Japanese society. So there was really my big project. But nowadays I am back home. I'm in Slovakia, and I keep shooting my films, documentary, and teaching also young generation how to make good films at university.
All right. Well, this has been really informative, and it sounds like you have a great career, and it sounds like documentaries are a passion for you. So we hope to
Yeah.
see more of your work in Oregon, and we appreciate you. Looking forward to the screening on the 21st. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we leave today?
Yeah, so yeah, I would like to add that first of all, I thank you very much for the judges. I really appreciate that this film was selected to the nomination. It is really big honor for me. Thank you very much. And secondly, I really wish to human mankind, to everybody, that this COVID will finish, and no other disease or virus will just kill so many people, and they will destroy so many human stories. And really, I really wish it, because I went through this very difficult time with my mom, with all the seniors in this golden cage. Even they have been protected, they really died. You could see also in the film this 101-year-old lady. She overcame the COVID, and after the COVID was gone, she died, because it was very tough period for her herself, also. So really, I wish to my all colleagues all over the world, so there is no one disease like this. And I wish for myself that I would be able sometimes to visit your festival, which sounds very interesting, and I would like to see a lot of these films on my own eyes.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you very much.
much. Well, we enjoyed our time today. So have a good day, and
Thank you.
we'll talk to you again in the future.
Thank you very much.